We will wait for a little bit until some people show up here for this live. And see if anybody shows up. Just sitting here looking at some of the cabochons I've created. And we're going to come here and just talk about this type of stuff. Hello, sweetie. And talk about some of this stuff here. And talk about other rock stuff, as well as other random generalized stuff. I hope I can be heard okay. I'm using a different microphone. Hello, 406 Findings. Hey, we need to talk to you, 406 Findings. Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I are going to be in your area in September, and hopefully the river is straightened back up. So, I'd like the opportunity to talk to you sometime here in the future. But yeah, we're just sitting here. Yeah, that's what we're hoping, that the river will be fine. I know it's going to be completely changed, so all the research I've done is going to be for naught, but still like to be able to meet up with you and do a joint venture hounding day. Hey, Greg, how you doing? So again, we're just sitting here taking a look at some of the cabochons that I've made over the past year, to include some of the obsidian ones I've done, and talk about some of the other things that's going on. And for everybody who's live now and who's ever watching on a replay of this broadcast, thoughts and prayers for our friend Melinda, who had a pretty substantial cardiac event at the Prineville powwow a week ago tonight. This is being recorded Friday night. She's still in the Bend Hospital, and so lots of thoughts and prayers towards her and her family. This is awfully rough on the entire family. She's still in induced a coma, and I think they're going to try to revive her either tonight or tomorrow. We are definitely concerned, because this could be rough. And also, I wanted to send a shout out to theglittermonkey.com. Made this incredible coffee tumbler for me. So later on, I'll put a link to that website in below. So, well, 406 Findings, we will touch base later this summer, probably during the month of August, as we get closer and see exactly how the river's reacted to these floods. And then we'll come up with a plan. I've already got something like 40 public access sites already identified. So it's not from a lack of not knowing where places are. I've got a bunch of them identified. It's just a matter of being able to. Hi, Diane. Just want to go hounding with somebody. Also, we've reached out to Katie did too, and she's sounding interested. So other than that, again, we're just admiring this. Well, this one here is a old school graveyard plume. This is from the top layers of the graveyard plume before it really got dug down to where it's at right now. And this one here is a Biggs area jasper, one of my favorites. This thing is absolutely incredible, fun to work. I already got her book, and I've got places above and beyond her book to go to. And of course, some of our mahogany obsidian hearts. Challenging to make, but once you do it right, they're very rewarding. Snowflake obsidian. This is material I actually purchased from Tony Funk at the Idaho Rock Shop. If you need to buy rocks or want to buy rocks, he is the one to go to. Call him up, say, hey, send you a large flat rate box from the dollar pile. And he'll charge you $1 a pound plus shipping for the flat rate box. And what a deal was that. Now, this stuff is $4 a pound. What came from him, though, in the dollar pile, let me see here. That came out of the dollar pile. And I've got some petrified wood, all kinds of incredible material that came out of that dollar pile. Something else that's a real fun one, Douglas County jasper. The Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I were up on a dig in that area. We were doing actually carnelian agate. Hey, Ava. And we were doing a dig for carnelian agate. And I went up the hill and I found a bunch of this jasper just laying across the ground. So I filled up a bucket and brought it home, and it takes a polish really, really nice. Something else I like too, came out of our local Willamette River, is this red jasper. This stuff that comes out of our river is very difficult to work with because it's usually fractured. But I was able to salvage a solid piece out of it, and it's a nice, pretty one. We'll go back into one of my favorites here of the obsidian. And let me throw some light on this one here. This was just gray banded obsidian. My buddy Michael Van Dyke and I, hey Nathan, yeah, you had to go a long ways to catch this live stream, didn't you? Buddy Michael Van Dyke and I picked up a bunch of this material up at Glass Butte. This was just laying on the surface. No digging for it. We were there for 10 minutes and picked up a bucket full from this one spot. And then some more snowflake. This here is what they call a freeform. The shape of the stone itself dictated it. The show for me went okay. We could have done better, but due to the medical emergency by Melinda, who's running the booth I was in, we had to shut down Friday night, and my good buddy Emery Coons, who many of you might know of him, who has anything to do with obsidian, he invited me into his booth and gave me a table space for Saturday, and actually did pretty well, met a lot of people, and my polished obsidian was the big hit, which makes sense because he's a napper. And the buddy that he was with also was a napper. And so I was around two people who was napping, and then I slapped this polished material in the middle, and a lot of people really liked it. So Emery Coons is real impressed with the work I do from the way he talks about it. This one here's some gold sheen. You can see that. Minus the finger smudges. A lot of people just could not believe that I could get a polish on the obsidian this way. And this is just turns out very nice. Rat Pack, I believe we did. We met at the O22. Yeah. And also, for everybody who's here, if it doesn't aware of it, the Mrs. Jaws Jr. has her own channel. And maybe she will put a link in right here. Which way do I polish obsidian? Any way that's possible. It is a tricky beast to do. Took me 2 years to develop this procedure. Probably went through a couple hundred pounds trying to develop a procedure for it. I actually had to build my own rotary tumbler for it because I was not happy with what the QT12 could do. And for you Northern Rockhound people, the QT12 is a Loritone 12-pound rotary drum tumbler. That's the workhorse of most people in this hobby. Now this stone here, the flat lap doesn't work very well unless you can run it to about 1200 grit and then go straight to a Berber carpet wheel with cerium oxide. This is Biggs area jasper. And Biggs area is Biggs, Oregon, north central Oregon, right off of Interstate 84 where Highway 97 intersects. In that entire area. And Jay, I made you a moderator already. And this is also the same type of material from the same similar location. And Ava, I saw a comment in there that you said you liked the snowflake. Let me show you another piece. This snowflake is just incredible. Love working it. Again, this came from, I bought this in bulk. Let me grab a piece of rough here. It's actually within reach. Yes, you're going to hear some clanking around. This happens a lot with me. This is a piece of rough snowflake, obsidian. So it's nice to be able to take this and turn it into that or something like that. Or even a heart shape. Doesn't matter. Almost any shape I can make. The current moderator is one of my good solutions. Yeah, let's do a sound check. I'm using a different microphone. Everybody who can hear me, let's hit the number 1 key 3 times. Very good, very good. At least somebody can hear me. Another fun shape, as simple as I'll get it that I like doing, is these diamonds. Now, one of the most exotic materials I have is this one here. This is called a Cary plume agate. It's actually an Oregon material, but from my understanding, from a person who owns a rock shop, that this material is pretty depleted. So, well, since the volume might be low, let me make a last second change here. Let's see what happens. Now we're going to try this. Is this any better for the sound? I can tell on my other monitor over here it is. Okay. Well, that tells me that the portable microphone I was using does not work. So I'm just going to use the microphone built into the cell phone. So that thing is junk. Let's go back to rocks. Tired of technology. All I want to do here is play with rocks anyway. That's why I came here, to play with rocks and to show everybody some more cool rocks. Now, we got this one here. Now, it's got a sticker on the back of it, but you can see how translucent that is. And then I got something else I want to show you guys too. Back to the obsidian. And what we're doing is we're actually getting ready to start an online store. I'm not setting it, it's not set up right now, but I want to get people's feelings and thoughts about setting up an online store for these. We're not trying to get rich off of this. This is just kind of like to help supplement the hobby. There you go. There's a little bit of sheen on that one. And another one here that's turns out pretty cool. There we go. There's Ann Sunday Drives. If you don't subscribe to her, go subscribe to her, please. Some very fun, amazing content by a very wonderful person. I might be biased in my opinion, but yes, by a truly wonderful person. Another piece of the snowflake. Oh, be careful, Nathan. And then this one here is what they call leopard skin. Kind of got a leopard skin pattern. Let me see. What else? This is material that the Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I have picked up in southeastern Oregon. Turned out just incredible. This is a plume agate, and it's a more of a white plume agate, as you can tell. It's white, yeah, duh. But yeah, this was some fun material to pick up. I also have some of it in a tumbler right now, and this is what it looks like in the rough. So I have a bunch of this rolling in a tumbler, and it'll probably show up in a future video, and most definitely it'll show up in TikTok. Yes, I do TikTok as well. We just reached 1,000 subscribers over there in TikTok land, and that's fun for the little shorts. And some of those shorts I also bring over to YouTube as well, because not everybody does cross-platform. And of course, this is material that is from the Missoula flood deposit that the Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I picked up in north central Oregon on some private property that we've got a key to. Stuff polishes up very nicely. And this is just fun stuff that I put into grab bags for people. And they bought them for like their grandkids or kids, just stuff to mess with. So, and of course, a small piece of jasper. Campsite neighbors. Yeah, I understand that. We were lucky this last time we were at a campground. We were in Ochoco Lake when we were there for the Prineville Rockhound powwow. And our neighbors were pretty good, and actually some of them were also rockhounds. Um, Typically, we like to go boondocking out in the middle of nowhere. No, I don't use ultrasonic cleaner at all. To clean my cabochons and my polished material, well, actually my polished material, I just clean them in the Vibe. It's the last step that takes 15 minutes and then they're done. If you work this material correctly, you don't have to worry about buildup in cracks and divots and stuff like that. It just takes a little bit of preparation and know how the material acts and works in the equipment that you have. That's why it's so hard to give advice, because nobody else has the same equipment mix and rock mix that I have, or the same quality of water to get these types of polishes, especially when it comes to obsidian, which is very finicky to work with. except for the fingerprints on it. There we go, that's better. But again, obsidian is one of my favorite to work with. Just a lot of fun to get the shine on something that is difficult to do. And no matter how hard you work on it, you cannot get all the flaws out. But this is still better than most others. Yeah, the cabbing, I didn't know anything about it. We've got the cabbing machine used, and I just started messing with it, and I started making these things to how I wanted them to look in my eye. And that's how I taught myself. No classes, no nothing, just started working on it. And I started working on different aggressive domes or less aggressive, and taught myself how to do the hearts all on the cab machine. And I got a couple other shapes that I'm going to be working on that's going to be unique as well. So also made some extremely thick, heavy cabs. Don't know what they're going to be used for, but that was fun making it. And then back to mahogany. Overall, we just had fun with this stuff. Now, I wonder if this one here will show anything special. There you go. Diane, I've got something better than cabs for worry stones. I've got some rocks, highly polished, that's absolutely perfect for worry stones. Yeah, we're sitting here at 7 likes and 8, 9 people. So yeah, hit the like button, everybody, please. Now you have to understand, I am not the greatest when it comes to this live stuff. The Mrs. Jaws Jr. and also Ava, both, well, Mrs. Jaws Jr. is a fan of watching lives, and Ava is the expert of doing lives. I'm telling you, she does what? How many do you do a week, Ava? 3, 4, or 5? Ava, you need to have a worry stone 1 per week at each location, and I can supply those needs. Now, again, this is a piece of material that the Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I have picked up in North Central Oregon, part of the Missoula flood deposit. Same with this in here. It's called quartzite. Very good material to work with. This is where I broke my teeth on polishing. So you do 5 lives a week. How do you keep up? I can't really get 1 video a week done. But see, you've got all kinds of talents. What do? I just sit here and play with rocks. And see more good worry stone type pieces. Now, the Mrs. Jaws Jr. and I had an opportunity to go pick up some material this weekend outside of Ashwood, Oregon. And this is what we got. This is agatized material. It has some jasper. This part here has actually a druzy pocket, which I don't know if you can see the crystal speckles in there or not. But this, carefully, so I won't set it on those rocks, it may scratch them. That makes this. So, hey, Catfish Hunter, you're late. You're 26 minutes late. Where you at, bud? Well, Diane, this is not a dull and uninteresting rock. I just shape it and put a shine on it. Oh, you go to the you're at the rock shed, man. If I went there, I'd go broke. And let's see what else they got around here. We'll talk about some future projects I'm going to work on. Something material I've never worked on before, and I have a lot of now. Mexican crazy lace agate. Yeah, the best way to learn how to do it is get the equipment, just dive in. That's how I learned. Here's another piece of the Mexican crazy lace. Now this one here that's an actual fracture, but also has a healed fracture up here. Get it wet. Of course, somebody would ask me to get it wet, and I'm where I don't have any water. Let me see. Yes, I do. There you go. Yeah, typical Mrs. Jaws Jr. wants to make things more difficult on me. That's part of the fine print, I guess. And there's car noise outside my shop. And another project that's partially in the mix. Let me see here. Let's first show you the end result. This is Saddle Mountain petrified wood. Saddle Mountain, Washington, near the north of the town of Mattawa. And here's a piece of it after medium grit, tumbling. So as you can tell, bringing the polish out really helps. Diane, I don't listen very well. Just ask the Mrs. Giles Jr. or Ann J. She knows that I don't listen well. I might listen with a big stick. And then we have this ugly rock. Have a good one, 406 Findings. Thanks for showing up. And 406 Findings, you and I will be talking here in the future. So this ugly rock is obsidian. More specifically, this is from the Burns, Oregon area. So we can turn something like that into something like this. And then I'll show you a couple pieces This is rough from the Missoula flood deposits that we pick up in north central Oregon. So as you can tell, it's pretty well shaped already by Mother Nature. And that's how I can get these to turn out so well. So, and while we're digging, I'm going to pull out two of my favorite pieces. One looks kind of simple and plain, but it is just incredible. That one right there. And this one here, a special meaning. This was picked up with our buddy Jim, who passed away earlier this year. This was picked up from Lake County, Oregon. And it was already flat that way. It was already like this. I just polished it up. And so this is one of a few that's going to hang in my personal collection just because of the memories we have with by going out and collecting it. Didn't take the best polish, but that's okay. It is what it is. And then we got one more beauty of jasper here. Yeah, I'm going to tease you for a second while I do a quick wipe down to get my fingerprints off of it. And then we're going to end after this one here. I absolutely love this piece. See if we'll get the focus. There we go. Colors just went away though. So, on this one, everybody, one of my favorite pieces, actually two of my favorite pieces. I want to thank everybody who showed up and thank anybody who's going to be watching this in the future. Also, don't forget, I'll put a link for this in the description below. So just remember, everyone's life is an adventure. Then there's mine out in my shop doing live feeds of pretty rocks and cool stuff. This is the Adventures of Josh Jr. Have a good one, everybody. See ya!